Hello, families. Stefan Ainley here, consultant at Deer Park Homelink, and I wanted to share with you the monthly progress report document. If you're familiar with this from previous years, then I'm just going to go over a couple of new things that we have. Otherwise, I'm going to, after that, go over this whole process so that we have a new updated video. So you can check out if you already know what you're doing after I show you the updates. Otherwise, stick around and I'll go through the whole thing because this is what a lot of consultants are using these days. I think it kind of has proven itself and people think it saves more time than not. So we're trying to make it save even more time for everyone involved. So the few updates, you'll notice right off the bat that there's a lot of yellow, and that is because they're blank. So if you leave a space blank, it's going to be yellow to remind yourself that there should be something in every place. So please don't just put gibberish. But just a reminder that you shouldn't be leaving evaluation blank, and I'll explain what that all means later. But you need to have something in every spot, and then average hours per week for the fine arts and PE. Again, don't leave that blank, even though it's not yellow. But that's one thing that's different. I've also included this document or this image that I've created that just kind of helps you know what each one is for. And again, we'll go over this in a second, but I think this was a little bit of a helpful thing last year just to remind people what is going on or what is expected from each chunk box. One thing really quick is a tip. If you are someone who likes having multiple lines in a box, one thing you might notice is if I hit enter, it goes to the next box. I've had some families that have hit space a lot and then they start typing to go to the next line. You can do that, but a whole lot easier way is to hit control or hold control and hit enter. And now I'm in the same box. Control enter, same box. Now this might be hard to do on mobile, and overall I wouldn't recommend editing this on mobile unless you have to. The Google Sheets does work, but it's not the easiest to work with. So if you are on mobile, I apologize for that being a little slower process. I think that's it as far as the changes. If you have a high schooler or an 8th grader that's taking high school credits or whatever, you will notice that these, like for K8, you're probably not changing these a whole lot. For high school though, you could change this over here, and your consultant might do it, or they might want you to do it, or either way. But you can change British literature or English or whatever to maybe this is just English. Oops. My computer froze. Oh. You can change this British literature. You can change it to maybe just ELA 10 or whatever. And you'll notice that this changes. Algebra, maybe, by default it says math, but maybe you're taking geometry this year or whatever. Notice that changes, and you'll notice that future months will automatically change as well. So it saves you a bit of time. The only thing you might have to do is if you're not using one of these customs, you might have to delete it every month, or your consultant might do it. So I might be sharing this with you unnecessarily. The only difference is with February, because February through May, June is second semester. February, you'll have to re-put in stuff or copy and paste it from previous, but a lot of times things might change. You might not be doing guitar anymore. You might switch to painting. So you might change the titles for February, and then those Februarys get copied March through June. So again, hopefully saving you some time so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single month. I think that's all it for new features. I'm going to now go a little slower and deeper with the new families who have never seen this before. So sorry if that was a little overwhelming, but I just wanted to make sure that the new stuff got mentioned. For new families, this is the progress report that your consultant may or may not use. If you're seeing this video, then they're probably wanting you to use it. So they will give you a link, and from that link, you can edit this without having to worry about being logged in or anything. But you're going to edit this at every month. Progress reports are due on the 20th of each month. That way we have time to go through it, make sure that it's worded how we need it to be in the system, and then we put it into Alex for our legal purposes. This is part of us staying legal and compliant by having monthly progress report check-ins. So this is our way of doing it. We used to do this different ways. We used to have Google Docs, or we used to manually emails and different things. But we've used this for a few years, and I think people have enjoyed it overall more than they haven't. So if you're not sure what to do, there are instruction tabs down below. And I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but I will point special attention to this, as I mentioned earlier. This is just a really brief, like what we want in each one. And for samples, there's a couple of samples that are completely filled out, so you can kind of see both ends. Here's like a very minimalist, almost on the verge of too minimal, but if you gave me this, I'd probably be happy. And then here's a more narrative one going from there. But in each box, the monthly focus, we want 3 to 5 topics and items that you've focused on throughout the month. These should be specific to each month. Granted, there are things that like, hey, we're still working on dividing fractions. You can put that again, but make sure that you're talking about like me specific, because auditors want to make sure that, things are changing. So English monthly focus for September is not always the same as October's and November's and December's. So the monthly focus needs to change from month to month. Unit chapter pages covered, that also should change. So if you're in chapters 1 and 2 for September, 3 and 4 for October, like we want to see that progress throughout the month or throughout the year. And then evaluation, how you're determining that they've learned the topics. So this could be a test or quiz. How many of us are actually, giving tests and quizzes to our families or our students? Maybe not many, but you can also do this through observations and discussions. They can do projects. You can say shows understanding with an 80% accuracy, through talking. So there's lots of different ways that we can evaluate our students. But we need something in there that hopefully has a number, some kind of evidence that says, yes, they're understanding that. Maybe you did give them a quiz and then you showed it. But that's what we need in each subject. And this includes academic classes. Yes, academic classes don't, you're not responsible for the grades, but you still need to report on it. So please, for academic classes, let's say they're taking algebra on site for a high schooler, math, algebra, monthly focus, list the things you've been working on. Which units, chapters, pages are you working on in the book? And any scores or tests or quizzes. Those are usually actually the easier ones to evaluate. But I've had families in the past that have just said, this is covered by the teacher. Like, not good enough. So we need this information. Please put it in there for every subject or course that's on your WSOP, your written student learning plan. Every month you'll fill this out. You don't have to reshare it with your consultant. You can just send them an email that says, hey, I'm done. But they will also be able to see that you've worked on it. And that's one of the cool things about having a shared document is that you don't have to send it back and forth. It's just always there. So sometimes I will look at my families and I will say like, oh, can you give me some things in science, please? I see you said one thing, but what else? Or can we be more specific? I see you said fractions for math. What about fractions? Oh, you're multiplying and dividing mixed numbers with improper, like whatever. So if you fill this all out by the 20th, you can let your consultant know. There are boxes here, highlights of the month. So this is for consultant only, not including the report. So this is just like, hey, we really enjoyed this, or we were struggling with this, but now we're getting it, or this curriculum that we are using is really great. So anything that you want to tell a consultant that you just haven't thought to yet, or any concerns or questions you might have, that's what these spots are for. I've also put down this image in everyone, so you could just, as a reminder, what should be in each box. And there's also comments right there if you hover over them. I think that's it. High schoolers, a lot of consultants are wanting their high schoolers to actually do this themselves. It's part of owning the learning. So they know what they're working on. They're responsible for that. But it could be a conversation you guys have as a family. So, what are you doing in English? Going through this, it's totally up to you. But I think when they start getting into 8th grade, 9th grade and above, this can be put on their plate. And then we can hound them if they're not done right. No, we can help them. think that's it. So if you have any questions, let your consultant know or talk to me. But I hope you guys enjoy this as much as one can. But thank you guys for helping us stay legal and compliant. This is something that comes around every month. And I know it's sometimes not our favorite, but it is fun to see what people are doing, what you guys are doing at home. Because consultants, we don't always know the full picture. So it's cool to hear that, learning and seeing the examples, and then the samples and kind of all the different things that go with that. So let us know how it can be helpful, and we'll talk soon.